I do not represent anyone other than myself, and I do not speak on behalf of anyone other than myself, but I would like to share with you the statement released from the LaVoy Finicum family, dated January 29, 2016. We know that there are always at least two sides to every story. We also know and recognize that the FBI and law enforcement agencies involved will do everything in their power to make it appear as if the needless death of our husband, father, grandfather, brother, and son, LaVoy Finicum, was justified. Like almost everyone else, we are not there, so we do not know exactly what happened. Like most others, we have no choice but to rely on other sources of information. One of those sources of information is the account of Victoria Sharp. Another piece of information is the video recently released by the FBI, along with the FBI's chosen narrative of what happened. In response to this information, we would like to make a few observations. The first observation is that, from what we understand, the occupation was on track toward a peaceful resolution. LaVoy and those he was with were en route to a public meeting in an adjacent county when they were stopped in something far different than a routine traffic stop, as has been portrayed by the media. Unfortunately, the powers that be were not interested in being patient enough for the occupation to come to a peaceful end. Some had called for LaVoy and those he was with to simply be gunned down, just as he was, with no due process. Oregon Governor Kate Brown was putting pressure on the FBI to end it sooner rather than later. The Harney County Sheriff's Department, working in conjunction with the FBI, tried to do everything they could to emphasize how disruptive the occupation was to the local community, when in reality it appears to have been their own reaction that was causing most of the disruption. And it was the FBI that chose to escalate the situation to force a confrontation and violent ending. With respect to the actual facts and circumstances surrounding LaVoy's death, the video really speaks for itself. People will interpret it according to their own views. As the FBI's own narrative stated, LaVoy was not wielding a firearm or any other weapon when he was killed. His hands were obviously in the air. Knowing LaVoy, it is our view that he was moving away from the vehicle in an attempt to draw any hostility or violence away from the others. Unfortunately, we do not know what he was saying and what was being said to him. He appears to have been gesturing or trying to keep his balance while moving in deep snow. Although he may have been animated, he does not appear to have been threatening or posing any real threat or danger to anyone. The FBI claims that LaVoy had a loaded firearm in his inside pocket of his coat. After reviewing the extended video, at this point we are not accepting at face value the FBI's statement that LaVoy was actually armed. But even if he was, as far as we can see, that firearm posed no more danger to anyone than it would have if he had stayed in the vehicle with his hands on the steering wheel. Contrary to what has been stated by some sources, LaVoy was not charging anyone. He appears to have been shot in the back with his hands in the air. It is our understanding that according to applicable law, the use of deadly force is justified only if there is a genuine threat of death or serious bodily injury. It is our understanding and position that deadly force should only be used as a last resort. In LaVoy's case, it appears that they were determined to go straight to the last resort. It is our understanding that the U.S. Supreme Court and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals have ruled as follows. The reasonableness of officers' actions depends on both whether the officers were in danger at the precise moment that they used force and on whether the officers' own reckless or deliberate conduct during the seizure unreasonably created the need for such force. Where an officer intentionally or recklessly provokes a violent confrontation, he may be held liable for his otherwise defensive use of deadly force. Although officers may claim self-defense, they may still be liable for using excessive force if their reckless and unconstitutional actions create the need to use excessive force. It is our understanding that in addition to shooting LaVoy multiple times after he was left lying harmlessly on the ground, the officers also fired upon his truck and the passengers in it, putting them all at risk. Despite the fact that they were posing no threat to anyone, the video clearly shows one of the windows being blown out. It has been gut-wrenching for our family to view the video of LaVoy being shot and then left to lie in the snow while a whole army of so-called public servants terrorized the others. We can only hope their families never have to watch such a thing. We will be interested to inspect the vehicle. We will also be interested to see the autopsy report. At this point, we will await the outcome of any investigation, but based on the information currently available to us, we do not believe that LaVoy's shooting death was justified. We likewise can't see any justification for use of force and risk of serious injury or death that was exerted against the others in the truck who posed no threat. We know that under such circumstances, law enforcement typically makes every attempt to cast such shooting victims in the worst possible light. In that regard, we also want to observe and emphasize that LaVoy had a squeaky clean record and had never had so much as a speeding ticket. In addition to raising his own 11 children, he also had been entrusted with the care of at least 50 foster children over the course of approximately 10 years. On January 7, 2016, LaVoy issued an official statement from the Militia Wildlife Refuge. Among other things, the statement said, "We want to clarify that we share any and all concerns about safety for everyone involved, including ourselves, our families, the public, and law enforcement officers. All lives are important to us. Ultimately, we want everyone involved to be able to return safely to their homes and their families. We are deeply troubled and saddened that our governments do not share the same concern for human life. We are deeply troubled that our governments would view whatever was happening at the Militia Wildlife Refuge to be worth spilling blood over. We are deeply troubled and saddened that our governments have come to place so little value on life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness. We love LaVoy as our husband, our father, our grandfather, our brother, and our son. He was a hero to us. We believed he died as a patriotic martyr. Regardless of any and all differing opinions, we know that he died standing for a cause he believed in." LaVoy's funeral will be held in Caleb, Utah on Friday, February 5th, 2016. We take comfort in our faith and our belief that LaVoy is now in a better place. May our dear Lord bless and receive him into that realm. We sincerely appreciate all those thoughts and prayers that have been sent our way. We pray for those who chose to take LaVoy's life. We desire justice and genuine accountability for what happened, but we pray for them. And finally, we thank God for this country and what it's supposed to stand for. We pray for this country and that God will please bless, help, and forgive us all.
Alright, gonna do a recording here. Alright, so guys, this is day 3 or 4 or something that us guys and girl have been out here. So we basically talked with the FBI. The FBI, you know, they want to know what are we want and blah blah blah. And there's a lot of questions and concerns. A lot of people think this is some kind of staged event. You know, there's that talent release form that I signed. That's actually a paper that you sign when a reporter. There's certain reporters, documentary people that they come in, they videotape everything, they take microphones, audio, but you have to sign a release form on our end. Like all the guys that they're recording, all the people that he's recording, we have to sign a release form saying that we agree that he releases this audio and video to the public and that we gave him consent to record us. That's what the talent release form is. It's not us being actors or anything like that. This is real, folks. This is real as it gets. So basically, I just want to make that clear. And so we spoke with the FBI today. They wanted to see what what we're doing, why we're here, what our wants and desires are. And, you know, I wanted to see how flexible the FBI was. You know, could they make it possible that all of us get out of here with charges on us? And you know, obviously that's not going to happen. They keep saying that they can't drop the charges. They didn't make the charges. They can't speak with the people who made the charges. So that's not possible. That demand, they keep saying it's not possible. So we wanted to see if they could drop the charges and us will all leave here. But, you know, they're saying that's not possible. And the truth of the matter is right now they're just collecting all the high threat, all the people that were considered high threats. They're going to put them behind bars. And then when they conclude the investigation, when they start the investigation, that's when they're going to start tagging all the other people they said were free to leave without any current warrants on their for their arrest. Later, after they do the investigation, the warrants are going to be flying out left and right. And so they just want to separate us and get us all home so they can pick us off one by one at our houses without being stuck together as groups with the guns. That's what they don't want. They want us to be separated, and we know that.
Okay, let me pass this on.
What?
They're not letting anyone out of jail. There's no bail. Okay.
Who are you hearing that from? Who's that?
That's this lady.
Who's this lady?
Assembly woman.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And we also know that there's more charges coming down after the investigation. So that even the 3 people here that don't have charges when they leave, there will be charges eventually, and they won't. You know, we know how this works. Brandon Curtis didn't answer his phone.
Of course not. He's probably out there waiting for us.
We had an opportunity after court to meet with Mr. Bundy for a few minutes. I spoke with him. He doesn't have a written message today. He asked me to summarize a few things. But first, Ms. Casey is going to just explain what happened in the pretrial detention hearing today, just to kind of follow what the background is on what was going on this Friday.
Thank you. I'm Mr. Arnold's co-counsel for Mr. Bundy. What Mr. Bundy wants to express about this hearing is that we respect the decision, we respect the judge, and we respect this process. This is the first step in this process. We intend to appeal the judge's decision today, but that does not mean that we don't respect what happened and that he does not respect her order. When she ordered him back into federal custody, he went and he did so respectfully. His message remains exactly what he told the judge today, that he still is pleading with those in the refuge to go home.
As Mr. Bundy expressed at the hearing, he actually got to speak to the judge himself. He reiterated some of his viewpoints on the situation, and he also expressed that he is a Federalist. He sees the place and the role for federal government, and therefore respects the role of the court in this process. Now, to emphasize the respect that he has for the court and respect for the process, he has asked me to continue to address those that remain at the facility and let them know that he still wishes them to go home. There's been we made some attempts this morning to make some contact with the folks that are still there. There was some media reports as well as some back channel reports to me that they don't believe that Mr. Bundy is asking them to go home because they haven't heard it from his own mouth. And being that this is a federal courthouse and we can't get cameras in the courtroom, they still haven't heard it from his own mouth. Although all of you are going to be able to convey that message, and hopefully they will be able to trust that because of the relationships that they've already established with you all at the refuge. However, this morning I reached out to some back channels to attempt to negotiate some contact with them, and it didn't go anywhere. What we feared, and what Mr. Bundy feared, was that they would become more entrenched if they learned that he wasn't being released. And I haven't been able to follow up on the media yet, but I received several text messages from those in the media that reported to me that they are now saying that they're not going to leave the refuge because he was not released. That is a horrible idea. The process is working. This was the first step. There's going to be an appeal of this on Tuesday at 10 a.m. and another judge will be hearing the case here at the courthouse. So rest assured the process is working. I was attempting to get a message to them before the court proceeding because I anticipated that this may be their response. I contacted the U.S. Attorney's Office and asked if they could facilitate me taking a short video clip of my client, Mr. Ammon Bundy, stating and expressing the urgency for them to leave the facility. Not out of self-interest for a release hearing, but because we were worried that they would find a loss of hope in the fact that it wasn't a release. But there was some release decisions made today. They were stayed for 3 defendants pending Tuesday's hearing. So there is a process that's working. I also contacted the U.S. Marshal Service and asked for permission. It's their facility. They're a very welcoming, warm group of individuals and a real pleasure to work with. And I asked for permission to be able to videotape just with my cell phone, just a couple of seconds of him expressing it in his own words. And they told me to contact the U.S. Attorney's Office, which I already had. So we weren't able to get that done. And we tried again after court, and we weren't able to get it done then either. So at this point, I implore those that remain, if you do not believe that we are speaking on his behalf, and these are his words, listen to Miss Bundy's words that she expressed in that audio clip. Or find a way to get my cell phone number from those in the media and contact me directly. I'll be happy to FaceTime you. You can look me in the eye and we can talk man to man, see if you trust the message we are conveying, that it's authentic.
Is Bundy a felon?
And if that doesn't happen, you know, I fear that the dialogue isn't going to continue. So feel free to make contact.
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions?
So, you know, we're in a position where we can't believe a fucking word we hear because, you
That's
know,
why we don't waste our time
Right.
talking to them.
it could be like the
You
guy
know what?
said.
Help get us out of here
I told you, call him at 2 in the morning when you're amped up and you can't sleep, and see how he likes it, and then just keep calling him back.
Yeah.
If he don't answer, or if he dishes you off.
Yeah.
No,
Well-
I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
This is a Nevada congresswoman, so I don't know what good she can do here in Oregon.
Well,
What do you got?
and
What do you got?
she-
Cars?
No, I'm just looking around. It's a
And-
beautiful night.
She's telling you to give up.
No.
Oh, this was a Nevada congressman?
Yes, that's helped the Bundys, the Bundy Ranch. And,
Oh, what was her name?
Michelle Faria.
Huh.
I don't know if that's exactly what she's saying. I didn't let her get that far,
Yeah.
but it
Well, I
seemed
heard-
like that's where it was headed.
Right in the beginning, it didn't
Yeah.
sound
If they
good.
can't help get us out of here, then they're just wasting.
First
their
thing you
time.
said was, nobody's getting out of jail and there's no bond.
Yeah.
That's what you said, right?
Yep, that's what she told me. And then she said, well, they can't hold them hostage. That judge is lying, or that FBI's lying to you. The judge can't do that.
It's
The
all
judge
over
can
the
do whatever they
place.
want.
That's right.
They can
'Cause
they
they're
can
corrupt.
charge us with false laws. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
yeah.
can't charge us for being on here, but they are.
Yeah. We have no choice. But we knew that. It's up to the people to save us.
Yep.
You know
Yeah.
as well as I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty slim.
You
So
don't
she
know.
said, she goes,
Well, there's-
we're outnumbered. She goes, there's more of them than there is us. We can't get people to stand. And
There's four
If
of us
that's the
standing,
case,
so
then with this, let's go out alive or go out to heaven and let them live in their slave world.
Well, the people need to realize is that any kind of good cause gets infiltrated by the CIA, the DHS. They infiltrate as people, and they ruin the cause. They bring bad names to it and whatnot. Anything.
make fun of it.
Make fun of
ridicule
it. Occupy Wall Street. It started out as a good cause, and then all of a sudden it got infiltrated, and then they're told to do bad things. And people here were told to do bad things by people, and we kicked those bastards out.
Yeah.
And so that's what the FBI and CIA does. They sit there and they cause a good thing to go to crap. And so they don't let it go peacefully. Just keep that in mind, people. That's why nothing ever gets done. They sabotage everything. Any good cause, they sabotage. Martin Luther King, they freaking murdered him.
Yeah, that's true. What are we thinking?
You know? JFK, he was trying to stop some of that crime, and he got murdered.
Look at this morning.
Ronald Reagan, he was trying to stop it, and they
He had
tried to
faith.
shoot. They tried to kill him, and then he stopped his
That will
plan.
Throw some shit at you and you crumble. Come on.
Our government's been hijacked.
Soldier.
I'm nervous, but I don't have any fear because, you know, like you're saying how Ammon's I'm directed by God, so am I. And this has been a huge eye-opener for me. But here, understand my position, okay? We came out here to support this cause for the Constitution because the corruption and how they're not following the laws, and you know they're releasing terrorists, but arresting and shooting ranchers. Okay, so our government is not our government anymore. Okay, so here we are at a refuge that they don't lawfully have the right to be here because of the Constitution. Right?
That's where it starts.
Okay. So how can they have the legal right to give me a felony, or any of us a felony, when they don't have the legal right to be here? Okay? They don't. But your husband and your brother-in-law and all your friends are in prison right now because they do what they want to do. Okay? And they're asking me that I just turn myself in, I go through a checkpoint, I do all these things. Everything that they're doing, they keep proving our point. Okay? So I have to submit to them, to people that I don't believe or trust, and then I get charged, and it's going to be a felony. So then I lose my rights even farther, my Second Amendment, my right to vote, and you know they're going to. The other night when we thought we were dead, they got me on live stream, telling patriots to get here, and if they try to stop you at the roadblock, to kill them, and just get here. You know, I thought that was my last day of my life, and I was hoping the American people would stand up. Use that as domestic terrorist charges, and I know I'll get the maximum, and they'll probably find other things after the investigation to tack onto me. I don't trust them. I don't believe that they have any authority over me because they're illegal, and I can't bow down to that. And I came out here to see this to the end, and I don't just quit because I got scared or I might be killed.
Yodis.
You know, so, and I had, well, and I'll tell you something else right now. We got abandoned, the ones that are left here, okay? After they killed LaVoy,
out there.
the word came down they were coming out to kill everyone, and
It's all right because if
the
they're out
FBI,
there,
There should be recordings, I think.
Oh, you think so?
the FBI
okay.
called certain individuals and told them that they could leave, go right now, and they'd be fine. They wouldn't be arrested. Well, we were on post, and nobody came back to tell us that. And then everybody left and left us there. And then they finally made contact with us. Okay, so here's our patriot brothers that we're here supporting, and they don't even support us. So they left us behind. No, not everybody. No, I know, not everybody, but people that I was there supporting, willing to lay my life down on the line for. Okay, so we got left behind. So then we talked to the Mark from the FBI, and we said, you know what, we heard that they had that option yesterday. In fact, David, that's here with us, had that phone call, but he didn't leave. But he doesn't have a felony. They want to put the felony on me. And I'm like, well, I wasn't here in the beginning. I didn't ever meet a federal employee. Because I'm probably one of the stronger, more threatening individuals that would, you know, obviously stand and not be bent over. So they want to make an example. If I'm in prison, then I can't be outside still fighting this cause. But here's the thing: these people we're dealing with are evil people, and I'm not doing this to, you know, make Ammon have, you know, regret it the rest of life because we're killed. It's bigger than that. It's standing up for. I don't want to live in this world that's this tyrannical. You know, why? So if we can't get let out of here, I gave them an option, a peaceful option. I said we could all leave peacefully, drive out with our vehicles and our weapons and no roadblocks and go home. I've came to this refuge 4 different times, and I've went home peacefully. I've never hurt anyone. I haven't hurt anybody here, and they won't accept that. Okay, that's the type of people we're looking at. You either have to submit or die, and I'm a patriot through and through to the end, and so are these other people, and we just, you know, we're waiting for God's miracle because we know that we're in this because of God too. He put us on this path, and there's a miracle coming, and we gotta wait for it. Okay, I put you on speaker so the rest of the people can hear this. Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to jump in, but since I'm Ammon's lawyer, I have certain ethical obligations to Ammon, and I actually have ethical obligations to you in a way. And my obligation is to tell you that I can't give you any legal advice. I don't represent you. I represent Ammon. His interest may be adverse to yours. I'm not looking out for your interests. The only
Fair
legal
enough.
advice I can give you is to talk to a lawyer. That being said, I have authority from Ammon speaking his position to you. You're not to interpret that as legal advice from me. You're interpreted as me giving you our position and me trying to persuade you. Look at me like a bad guy you can't trust and make your own mind up about that, okay?
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Fair enough.
So
Yep.
what I was telling Lisa is I call him a favor to Wayne Mackett. He's a Google him. He's one of my favorite lawyers in the state of Oregon because, quite frankly, I just think he's just a badass fighter against the government.
Okay.
And I asked him if he wanted to give Sean legal advice because I don't think it's appropriate for someone to be negotiating with the FBI without hearing from an attorney. I think it puts people at an unfair disadvantage because you're holding up a loan and it's just nice to get a fresh perspective even if you disagree. So, can you write down Wayne's number?
Yeah, hold on a
Hold
second.
on.
We gotta get some paper and pen. You realize that we may be fighting for our life in any minute, right?
Yeah, and
They already have.
Alan still about it?
We're not sure. I haven't seen it.
Okay, because I called the FBI and I said, what the fuck are you doing with the drone? I thought we were trying to negotiate and let these people know that they can be trusted. And I said, it seems like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing here at the FBI. Why is it only trying to negotiate with you and get tactical information?
Well,
How does that feel stuck?
And they promised us that they weren't going to do that. They said that the only contact they would have with us is when we go to go to the checkpoint.
You need
Yeah,
that
I think
name
what's
again
happening
for that
is
attorney in Oregon.
take up your own opinion, but I've had a really good conversation with a gal from the FBI, and I have the
Oh,
feeling
you gonna write it?
that there's some tactical people that are making tactical decisions that don't meet the strategic goal of ending this peacefully. Do you understand the difference between tactics and strategy?
yes.
No, what?
Be a brilliant tactician, and my God, running a drone overhead is a brilliant strategic or a brilliant tactical move because it gives you intel on a potential threat. But your goal is not to eliminate the threat. Your goal is to eliminate the situation.
Right.
But don't throw a tactic in there that's going to hurt the strategy of the ultimate goal.
Right.
So I said, you guys got knocked that off. Well, I can't even have communication because if I were them, I'd feel really, really worried.
Well, what we had heard was that there was snipers on the vehicles, on the roofs of the vehicles, and they tried to get us to fire at that drone, and then they could kill us and say because it was dark they didn't know who we were shooting at.
I was just talking to my wife, Billy Spears, about this drone thing, and I said, I cannot believe their restraint for refusing to shoot at the drone. I'm so impressed with you guys.
Well, we're not evil people. We're peaceful people.
Yeah,
We
we're
know-
not
we-
trying to shoot anything.
We know as soon as we fire, then it's on.
You know,
We know.
the only way we're gonna fight is to defend ourselves if they shoot us or they come in here and try to arrest us, because we don't believe that they have a lawful authority to do that.
What was your buddy's name, the
Yeah,
attorney?
what's his name again? Wayne
Wayne Mackeson, M-A-C-K-E-S-O-N.
Mackeson.
T-K-S-E-O-N?
M-A-C-K-E.
E-S-O-N.
S-E-S-O-N. Okay, and he's
Here,
a
I
lawyer
got-
here.
Do you need a better pen?
He's a lawyer.
You okay? Okay.
Portland, Oregon, okay.
Yeah, Portland. I mean, just Google him. I mean, you need to talk to him. I don't know if you ever shot for a lawyer before, but it's one of the hardest decisions you ever make in order to trust a lawyer.
Yeah, we're not doing this through the courts, though.
Lawyers are in sales, right? They sell stuff to juries,
Yeah.
they sell stuff
Yep.
to
They're-
opposing parties, and they sell themselves to potential clients to try to get them to hire them.
Mm-hmm.
So you would, you know, if you don't trust a used car salesman, it's okay, you bought a car. But if you choose a lawyer, it's harder than choosing a wife or spouse. You can divorce a spouse, you can't divorce a sentence in a federal penitentiary.
Right.
So,
Well,
I told, I'm not giving you legal advice again. I keep wanting to say that.
We understand.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you something. We don't trust him. We watched this from the beginning. He said lies on Facebook. He went back to the motel room and got drunk and blasted off about us on Facebook, and he would never really commit to anything and would never have a weapon on. And I know he's close. He's close to these Oath Keepers, and I believe that organization is a federal organization, and not everyone involved in it is a Fed, but they're pretty much, they run things through them because, you know, hey, that'll grab a lot of patriots and give us a lot of intel. And so keep that in mind. What about Blaine Cooper? Have you heard anything on him? Does he have any charges? I talked to a reporter today that looked into it, and he said he does not have any charges pending. He was there from the beginning. And we know there was people on the inside days before this happened. And they're gathering intel, they're taking pictures, and they're setting people up for charges. So keep that in mind.
I'm just wondering what you're thinking. Where are we going from here? What's the plan?
We're waiting for our miracle. God has his hand in this whole thing, right?
We're going to get everybody out of here.
We're going to get everybody out of here. I mean, if this doesn't wake the American people up, then, you know, what's gonna? And for people to quit, and I know you're probably stressed because this will be harder on Ammon if we don't leave or whatever, and, you know, right now we got to think of ourselves.
Sorry to say.
We've been here for everyone else, and now we're here for ourselves, so
we
think
guarded
think
him,
about
and we would have taken a bullet for
the
him.
Bible, and all the heroes in the Bible came from the lowest spot. You know, we were just four grunts. We don't have any military experience or anything, and right now we're the shining star. We believe that God is guiding this. We had a couple days here where it was pretty tough, and we were losing hope and questioning our faith, and a bald eagle flew over top of us really low, and we all saw it plain as day. And I haven't seen any bald eagles out here until these last few days. And now we've seen like 20 of them. And they fly directly over top of us every moment that we need them, okay? The night that we thought we were dead, the moon came up over the mountain. It was a blood moon, okay? Full red blood moon. It wasn't supposed to be. And then as it got higher, the blood went away, but it was a full moon. And then it got up in the air, and there was a halo around it. And the halo got bigger as the night went on, and it stayed over top of us, protecting us. Now, those are signs to me from the Lord. And I know that He's watching this. And I believe there's going to be a miracle.
They may not like
You know,
that.
I don't know if that is the American people waking up and they show up here and we're all over the news and we get to go home free and everyone gets to home free. Or
they shoot us.
They shoot us,
People
and
get pissed off
the
enough
people
to do
get
something.
more pissed off because they shot LaVoy, and they do something. I mean, something has to happen for people to stand up and do something.
And if it
Ruby
doesn't-
Ridge and Waco, nobody stood up to do anything. They kept fighting it through the courts, and it hasn't prevented any of this. So here we are once again. So until we stand up on our laurels and make a stand to the end, we're going to live in a tyrannical country and never be free. And I just can't do that. You know, I asked them, let us go home free. We'll go home and it'll be no problem. But they won't allow that. I have to be charged and submit. So who's the evil people here? We haven't killed anyone. They murdered LaVoy in cold blood. And it sounds like they want to murder us too because we're making them look bad and they can't have that. And these are Americans that want to kill us. That's a sad world. And I wouldn't want to live and exist in a world like that if that's the way it's going to be.
Okay, I understand.
I don't want to hurt Ammon's cause or anything. We're not doing this for we're doing this for ourselves now.
Well, he never did do it for himself. That was never his intention to ever do it for himself. He did it for the people of America.
Right.
That was what he wanted.
Well, and we did too. We
And
did too, but
taking it through the court system.
we did too, but there is no justice in the court system. If there was, then the lawyer would go in there and say, Your Honor, Article 1, Section 8, Paragraph 17 states that they can't own that land, therefore these laws are unjust and unlawful. And this needs to be thrown out. And that should be the end of it. But no, they don't follow the Constitution, so how do we trust any of it? There's no justice.
I know. There's a lot of evil out there.
Today, we all come together with one common goal in mind: to be patriots, willing to take a peaceful stand to show the world that fairness, justice, and freedom are more than just words to us. They are a way of life, which at this current pace, our children and grandchildren may never know.
What do I see? A government pushing materialism and greed. Into our children they plant the seed, teaching them possessions are all that they need. This kind of learning we now start to see. Big corporate banks, they grow like a weed, while billions of people suffer in their greed. You become collateral for their secret deeds. It's time to stop and smell the corrosion. These giant corporations, they plucked up our oceans. They slaughter mankind for the sake of a dime. The money they make backed by the lives they've taken. So much more at stake than the economy rate. Wall Street those needs, so why should I give them my tax money? Too big to fail means too big to keep, and give them our lives and go home and sleep. I say to you, too many of us will no longer weep while you funnel our freedoms to oil in the east. I don't give a fuck what I have to do. We will not allow this shit to continue. You give us the bone while eating your steak. The pattern is now.
The FBI claim they want peace in Oregon, but they have created the opposite. Ammon, Bundy, LaVoy, Finicum, and the others only wanted peace. They even met with the FBI face-to-face, and yet Finicum was killed in cold blood as his hands were in the air. Just as Anonymous called for justice in the killing of Michael Brown, we call for justice now. The FBI has the weapons, but they do not have the heart. It is time for Anonymous to engage. We do not call for violence or armed uprising. We call for Anonymous members to spread this fight online. Every citizen of the United States must hear our call. We want the identity of every agent who fired a weapon that day. We want justice for LaVoy. We stand with Ammon Bundy. This fight is not over. As patriots sit in jail and await trial, Anonymous will give them their full support. When the government no longer fights for justice, the internet will. We are justice. We are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. We are Anonymous.
We need everybody here. I mean, the word is that Burns is on lockdown. They're going house to house looking for people they think that might have slipped out of here. They're not serving any warrants. They're just doing it for like some kind of safety deal.
Like Nazi Germany.
It's like Nazi Germany. They're pulling cars over. You know, there was word that the Patriot Network was coming, so there's 2 Blackhawks out at the helicopter or at the airport, and there's a lot of fear there.
Everybody from coming.
Nobody can come out here. No press can come out here. You know, I don't know what the answer is, but I know there's power in people and power in numbers, and you know, I think the Constitution, the Declaration, it is our right and our duty and obligation to overthrow a tyrannical government. So why are we not doing this? And you know, sometimes you need blood on the tree of freedom from patriots and tyrants. It's a sad thing, but if that's what it takes to get it back,
but it doesn't have to be.
You know, it doesn't have to. Exactly. You stand up peacefully and you demand it, and you don't take no for an answer, and you win. I mean, you know, and if they kill somebody because they stood up, then that should outrage more people. And you know, I don't know where it stops.
Oh wow, look at all the people here. It's quite amazing. Yeah, Kenny, you can just drive on around here. And, yeah, we've got a pretty good showing right now. This is just a preliminary thing. I think mostly, you guys, this is like their way of... Hi, guys. There they are.
Are you live streaming?
Yes, I am.
Hi.
Long time no see. How are you guys?
Finally up and going again.
Good.
So tell everybody what's happening here.
Hi everybody. We are having a rolling rally in honor and support of LaVoy, and as well as a Take Back Your County type campaign to kick off our rally for Monday. So a lot of the communities are showing up here. We got a lot of support, as you can see, a lot of media, and more people are coming in. So this is really good.
All right. So how many people are you expecting out here, Brandon?
Well, I'm hoping we see a couple hundred. And this is going to be a rolling rally. So this is going to be in the vehicles. We're going to go through town, flags, lights, horns, all that good stuff.
Oh, so they're going to be blowing horns and having a little civil disobedience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how we love you, buddy.
Yeah. So
hope to see you soon. We'll get you out.
Yeah, we'll be seeing him on Tuesday, hopefully. We're working hard with his attorneys, everyone, so...
And just so you know, Deb's doing a great job.
Deb's not, just holding herself together. Monday we have the... Man, there's a lot of people showing up here. Wow. Monday we're doing the... what do we call that? The protest. And that's a true protest where we're going to be going to, I believe, the FBI, asking them to leave. They're also going to be going to the sheriff's department and asking for the sheriff to resign. And that's okay, you guys, I'm going to show you. Going up the hill, look at that. Wow. Roll your window down. People, it's like a parade here in town. Look at that. People have come out to stand on the streets and support.
Thank you, LaVoy. Peace be with you. We know they murdered you, but your spirit lives forever. Shame on David Sheriff Ward. Shame on you, Sheriff David Ward. Shame on you.
As a response to Ammon Bundy, we try to get in touch with us 3 times now, but so as courtesy, we're responding now because we have time and stuff. Anyways, you might have heard from Cliven Bundy. He's telling people to keep going and keep fighting. And that's the absolute truth, because right now they're just letting people go, and spreading them out and scattering them, but collecting all the high threats, and charging them with the charge to keep them in custody. But later when the investigation is done, that's when everybody's going to get tagged, and everybody who's tagged still right now is going to get even more tagged with more charges. And so this fight, as he said, it's a fight that's going to keep going. So when Americans going to learn to take a stand and then fight, the system that's corrupt, instead of just throwing yourselves into that mess and trying to put your fate into what you were fighting against. And so, with that said, a lot of people here feel like LaVoy, he can't speak here now, but we feel like he wasn't a man that was a coward or anything, and he stood his ground. And so let's not let his death be in vain. Let's not this event be just trampled over. American patriots worldwide need to wake up and see what's happening. And one more thing is that LaVoy once stated that you need a weapon to keep the other one sheathed, is along those lines. And basically everybody here, they had their guns and stuff, and everybody was supposed to hold their ground. The objective was to see if the cops would really come and just kill everybody, holding your ground there. And if the feds knew that everybody was armed and they want a peaceful resolution, as they admit, then they wouldn't ever come in charging with their guns blazing if they absolutely wanted a peaceful resolution. And so it's possible to do such a thing. It's just they're not willing to go to that extent. If Obama can release 5 terrorists, ISIS supporting terrorists, for one treasonous prisoner, then of course any deal is possible. So how come they can't make deals for people who are honestly, genuinely fighting for the Constitution of the United States? So with that said, you know, we believe people should stand their ground and make a standoff.
Let's talk about liberty. Let's talk about our patriot brothers and sisters illegally caged in Oregon. Let's talk about the murder of LaVoy Finicum. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the narrative. Let's talk about the facts. You see, something we've learned more and more and more is that the media does not control the narrative. The government does not control the narrative unless we allow them to do it. And that's what we have to make sure we don't do. We need to be united. We need to not be distracted. We need to keep focused on the message of liberty. We don't need to be getting in long, endless debates with trolls. We just need to be going out, correcting the lies, standing up for the truth, and then moving on to the next one. We need a tactic to take on the truth, to take on the tyranny and keep the fight for liberty alive. And we've been seeing that happen this week. We've been seeing the truth come out, and it's making the tyrants angry. And we have to keep it up. So let's talk about the facts. All week after the tragedy of LaVoy Finicum, after they were ambushed on the road and LaVoy was murdered in cold blood. The facts are out. The video is out. We don't have audio yet, but we have refuted the false narrative put out by the government and propagated and parroted by the news media. It's a lie, and we know it's a lie. We can see in the video, we can see what happened, and we've addressed the objections, the accusations that they've thrown against people that are upholding the rule of law and liberty. But let's take that further. There's something more we need to understand, because this week we focused on addressing this objection of, no, LaVoy didn't go for a gun. LaVoy got out of the vehicle. It looked like he was being fired on before that. Then he goes out and it looks like he's shot in the left side by the agent. And then he goes down because he's wounded and he's stumbling, and then the other agent murders him in cold blood. But there's another side of this. The next element of this is the larger message. It's the message of the rule of law. It's the message of the liberty that we stand for. And that is that the only criminals out here, the only criminals on that highway were the government agents. You see, LaVoy and the Patriots down in Oregon were peacemakers. Ammon and everyone down there, they're not looking for a fight. They're looking to love their neighbor and defend liberty. But let us make no mistake about what happened on that highway. This was not a traffic stop. This was a coordinated, planned ambush. It was an assassination by the government against people, against LaVoy, who was carrying the message of liberty and standing up peacefully for the rule of law. A traffic stop is not dozens of vehicles and dozens of tactical armed men shooting at you on the highway. A traffic stop is not unmarked cars chasing you down the road, shooting you when you get out of the vehicle with your hands up, and lobbing grenades at your car. A traffic stop is not men who are outside the rule of law, who have no valid probable cause, blocking the road and boxing you in so they can kill you. That's the facts. And had LaVoy and those patriots defended themselves, they would have been morally and lawfully justified. But see, LaVoy didn't want a gunfight. LaVoy wanted to protect the people that were being attacked in his vehicle. LaVoy wanted to stand for the rule of law, and so they murdered him. But let's keep the message going further. First, this week we've addressed and destroyed the lies and the objections that say, oh, the police shot him because he was going for a gun. Next, we've made it clear that this is not a traffic stop. This is not a police officer overreacting and going too far and shooting someone down, like we see all too often in America today. No, This was a planned, organized assassination. And now we have these patriots, and our brothers and sisters are being held in a lawless court. And let's make no mistake, these courts at this point, they have no lawful authority. They have no authority in the rule of law, in the Constitution. And this goes back to the words of John Locke, on whose words the founding fathers helped build this republic, on whose influence it was inspired. And John Locke made this clear in his writings on the rights of man and the law. And he said, when a magistrate, when a judge acts outside the lawful authority that they're given, they cease to be a magistrate. And they can be regarded as any other man, as any other criminal. And that's what we're dealing with in our government. And so we don't act rashly, we don't act in violence, we act in principle, in justice, in mercy, but boldly for liberty. So let's get the narrative on track. The debate isn't really about whether LaVoy went for a gun. And he didn't. The discussion is about liberty. The discussion is about opposing murderers, government terrorists who abuse the weak, the innocent, the fatherless. The discussion is about liberty. That's what it was always about. It's about restoring land to the people. It's about restoring our natural God-given rights. It's about stepping up and breaking the shackles of slavery from us and our neighbors and our children. It's about asking ourselves the question, what are we going to do about it? It's about saying boldly, not who will stand, but I will stand. The appeal to heaven is ours. We need to get on our knees and then stand boldly on our feet. We need to not be distracted by every conspiracy we can come up with, and that we can imagine when the real conspiracy, the real war on liberty is right here in front of us. And make no mistake, our government has declared war on liberty, on the rule of law, on all God-fearing, freedom-loving patriots. And we have to stand principled for peace, for liberty, and for justice. LaVoy Finicum died one of the greatest American heroes since 1776. Roads and highways and buildings will be named after this man, but more importantly, he died defending and upholding the message of liberty, loving his neighbor, and standing for what was right. Let tyrants be warned. The blood of our martyrs is the seed of your destruction.
Everybody's trying to find out what's really happened.
Okay, well, I can update you as fast as I can for a minute.
Have you seen the video that they released?
I did, but here's the problem. They're not telling sisters as you're watching it. Because what happened was that I was going to go home, and then one of my friends who was supposed to go do the video couldn't go, and I couldn't leave the little girls, and I went to take pictures of them. That's why I went.
Right.
So, we were set up. They had an ambush set up for us. Absolutely. And they set it in the place, the most perfect place. I was on the phone and texting right before that area, and it was the only place that had absolutely no cell service.
Right. They had clearly been planning this, and they clearly also had somebody inside because they knew your guys' plans down to the T.
Well, they did because it was that Mark. Mark did it. I believe it was Mark who set us up.
Well,
he's only been there for a couple of days. So Ryan Payne was, they pull up kind of behind us, and Ryan Payne rolls down his window, and he puts both his hands out the window, and they shoot at him, and they hit the rear bell. I thought they hit his wrist, okay? Because he had that bracelet thing on, and I thought they hit him and jerked his hands back in, and oh my God, because he had his hands out, but he just swept it. That was not good.
Wow.
And so then finally, the Ryan's going to take off, and Ryan says, no, and so he jumped out of the car. Well, Victoria says, I'm not getting out. And I'm going, I'm not getting out, they're shooting at us.
She's not wanting to get out because she was afraid?
Oh, yeah. And so she said, I'm not getting out. So he just said he did again, so we slid down to
say that bullets started flying, you're talking...
Go ahead and shoot me. Okay, we're going to see the sheriff. And he goes, go ahead and shoot me. And then he jumps out of the car. And he's got both his hands up. And then we can hear all the shots that are going off. They're shooting, not just him, they're shooting our windows out. They're shooting everything. We can't get out of the vehicle. There's bullets, everything's whizzing. Okay? We can't get out. There are lasers all over us. Ryan gets hit in the shoulder. We have lasers all over us, on the mirrors, on the glass, on our knees, on the, you know, and we are just chowing down as low as we can get. I got her head shoved down as low as I can, and Ryan's down to the floor, and we're trying to keep down as low as we can. And the bullets don't quit, they just keep going. And they're both screaming, they killed LaVoy, they watched him get shot, okay? And then you'll hear us we're just screaming, you know, stop, you know, and she's yelling, I'm an EMT, you know, I can help him, she's screaming, stop, and she's trying to get over to the window, but the bullets keep coming. I'm right by that passenger door, and the glass is up, and they keep hitting that window, and we are praying, her is praying out loud, okay? And as hard as we can, and the bullets are bouncing off the window. They didn't break that window, they were breaking all the other windows. They didn't break that window.
That's weird.
And they're shooting in gas, you know, bomb things. And so they're gassing us. And so I had that down jacket on, and her and I had our nose in the jacket, in my jacket, and I'm just trying to keep her down, you know?
Yeah.
And then finally, because they weren't letting up, that's when we started. Like 10 minutes, you know? And still, after he was already dead, and they were still shooting. They planned to kill us all. Just evidence. So finally they said, and then they get on the bullhorn and shed the male out, you know, which was Ryan. And he got out, and of course they got him, maybe walked backwards and took him. And then she gets out, and then they came, and then I had to leave the camera and my phone, because I had to get my hands up and climb out. And they put us on the ground and put handcuffs on us. And then they continued to shoot the truck. They said, is there anybody else in the truck? Because we're walking away from them. We said, no, there's nobody in there. I said, absolutely nobody is still in the truck. Okay, we get away from it, and they just opened fire and keep blowing heads. And they broke the window where I was sitting.
Weird.
Yeah, and it was evidence that they had every intention of killing us. They didn't want us to.
Wow.
It was crazy. Yeah. And we said, you murdered him in cold blood. When we get there, see, as I watched that video, FBI video, I can see what he's doing. He comes out of his truck. He has his hands up. My guess is they shot him in the leg, okay? Because you can hear the shooting. They shoot him in the leg. Or I don't even know how many times they shot him, but I know and we said, you murdered him in cold blood. When we get there, see, as I watched that video, FBI video, I can see what he's doing. He comes out of his truck. He has his hands up. My guess is they shot him in the leg, okay? Because you can hear the shooting. They shoot him in the leg. Or I don't even know how many times they shot him, but I know I'm almost positive he came bulletproof vest up, okay? And the big one, but he's stumbling through the snow, and they shoot him, and he turns back when he's coming back to the truck.
Yeah.
And Harney finishes him off with a long rifle over to the side. He's about 50 feet from him.
Yeah.
And blows him away. And then so he falls backwards into the snow. He does not have a gun in his hand. He is dead. When he gets out his hand, his left hand is still laid out. His right hand is halfway to his chest, and he, you know, like it was up. But he has no weapon in his hand. He never answered his gun. He just kept saying, go ahead and shoot me, And they lambasted him. And even after his death, they shot him.
After that happened, did you get a chance to talk to anybody? I mean, that Mark fellow says that he talked to you and that you told him.
Because here's what happened. They put us in the van. They went out and picked up everybody. So we had all of us in the van. We put in first. And then they picked up the other guys as we went down the road where they were stopped and put them in the van. Mark was sitting in front of us. He was a jackass. Let me tell you something. This is this poor girl. We just saw murder in front of her. We were sitting in the back of that truck, in the back of that van, and we were singing hymns. I'm trying to keep her calm down, okay? And we are singing hymns and loud as shit. And praying. And I
Now, do you still have that video?
No, they took it. They took everything. They took everything. They took my wedding ring. They took my clothes. They took my glasses. They took everything. Or I was went upside down.
I've been trying to make...
We still have to fight the fight.
Yeah.
Okay? We still have to stand for the Constitution. We cannot let it just die. We cannot let LaVoy, you know, I'm a little nervous because I'm speaking out. Because I'm still not out of the woods yet.
Right.
Because they can cut me right back in. I know that. But here's the deal. I have to get out, and I have to get the word out, and I have to get help, ASAP.
Yeah.
Because if we don't, those guys are going down. So I had to get out, and I have to get help. And I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Well,
We have to.
you know, I don't think...
I don't want to put anybody in danger.
Yeah, yeah.